The university informed students this afternoon the threat to the campus had been, quote, neutralized. But the area around the campus is still considered an active crime scene. Several campus buildings remain closed, and officials canceled classes and activities tomorrow and into the weekend. So many of you with connections to one of the state's largest universities. Of course, our Kate Hussey is joining us live now at the scene, listening to students who are still in disbelief. And Kate, what does the scene look like there on campus tonight?
No, honey, I can tell you the weight on this campus is palpable. Students are shaken, they're scared, they're grieving. And for student Aiden Weinrich, he's a senior here at FSU and a Marjory Stoneman Douglas graduate. This is a chilling deja vu. Another school, another shooting. Now let's take a look at the horror that unfolded earlier today. Cell phone videos capture armed law enforcement officers darting across campus. You can see students fleeing from the student union, barricading classroom doors with desks in fear and desperation. Aiden, in a classroom next to the union, tells me he heard sirens, then got that active shooter alert on his phone. After that, he says his professor closed the blinds as he and his classmates huddled together in the dark, terrified for their lives.
We just sat in the corner for a while. We were all shaking. There were people crying, obviously, everywhere. It was a whole mess. Then eventually the police started walking through the hallways. So we heard footsteps and nobody knew what it was, so we're like getting even more nervous. I was gonna say, it felt like, I guess not the right word, but like kind of surreal, like, is this actually happening?
Aiden and his classmates were then escorted out of the building by police, and thankfully he says none of his friends were injured, but he does say he saw several students receiving treatment outside of the student union, a scene that, as you can imagine, is now etched in his memory. I also spoke with Aiden's mother tonight. She describes today as one of the scariest, if not the scariest, days of her life. She's now on her way to Tallahassee to be by her son's side, honey.
Kate, Aiden, you also graduated, you said, from Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And while Aiden wasn't actually there on campus when the 2018 Parkland tragedy occurred, he's carried the weight of that day ever since, living in fear of what has now come to pass, not just on his own campus, but really right in front of his very own eyes, honey.